Hi guys, I'm back with Jude. I got a lot of good, positive feedback about your interview that I did. Like a lot of people reached out to me and
Oh,
told me.
good. Yeah, I heard from some people as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, it is
So
good.
obviously it's reaching people, which I
Yeah.
enjoy. And so today Jude said that she wanted to ask me questions about my mental health as we are wrapping up Mental Health Awareness Month. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to talk about it on my channel often, because I know I will, and I do want to come back with you. It doesn't have to be Mental Health Awareness
No, it
Month. We can
doesn't.
talk about it whenever. But anyways, I'm going to let Jude take over, and we'll see how this goes. I'm a bit nervous.
Well, the reason I really wanted to have a chance to talk to Krista openly and honestly in this venue was because she's been going through a lot. She started with, I'm just going to give you a little background of the things that I'm curious about. And Krista has started with cannabis, with the cannabis clinic just recently for her moods. And I also use cannabis and oils for my moods. And she's also going on a trip, which she's preparing for, which causes anxiety in everybody. Any normal person gets anxiety for when they're flying and that kind of thing. And she's always making decisions and doing new things. And she saw a psychiatrist.
Yep.
So let's start there. Krista. How was it when you went to the psychiatrist appointment? Give it to us from the beginning to the end, and add in your emotions, like how you felt as you drove there and that kind of thing.
Okay, so I was actually really looking forward to it. I've been telling people that because I wanted something more definitive than what my GP was giving me. So I was totally looking forward to this for the whole 2 months that I had this appointment. So they called me in the morning. They actually bumped my appointment up 3 hours early.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, so I got there at noon instead of 3, and then as soon as I got to the hospital, I was fucking pissed.
Why?
Because twice...
So you drove there and you were feeling okay on the drive?
Yeah, I was feeling okay, except I was a bit anxious because I was late, and I always get anxious when I'm late. And then, this was such an important meeting for me that I think I made it more anxious. So I'm a little bit anxious.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Go on.
So I get there and I'm like, okay, it's a couple minutes, I'm totally fine, except I don't know where I'm going in the hospital. And twice they told me on the phone to take the yellow elevator, okay? So I find the yellow elevator, it's like the last elevator, go up, find the mental health thing, and then there's a sign on the door that says, if you have an appointment on Saturdays for this psychiatric clinic or whatever they call it, go back and take the orange elevator. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You told me twice to take the yellow elevator, and I was thinking the whole time, this is a test. This is a test to see if I'm gonna get angry or anxious, and it's working. So I get in the...
There's Big Brother mirrors or cameras you're thinking watching you?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, go on. I'm just making light of it.
Yeah. So I get in the elevator, and I'm immediately teary because I'm so anxious and I'm so mad. I'm like, you told me twice. I didn't know there was colored elevators, so I know I'm not making this up. Why would I make up yellow, right? Oh, so I was so pissed. But anyways, so I get in there and, for like 15 minutes after, so I wasn't late at all.
Oh, good.
Right. So I get in there and the guy, just starts asking me general questions.
And this is the psychiatrist?
This psychiatrist, yeah. So I've never met this guy before. I can tell that he's asking me some, not like leading questions, but I can tell he's asking me questions based on certain mental illnesses. He's saying like, do you have to do something over and over again until you get it right, or if you don't, something bad will happen. I'm like, no, I don't have OCD,
Yeah.
I can kind of see where he's going with some questions.
Yeah, I found that too.
Yeah, and then, so I'm answering honestly, obviously, and then he's asking me questions about stuff that I hadn't really thought about ever. Like, sorry, I have to think about that now. Okay, I can't think of an example.
No, just take a minute, it'll come.
Things that I'd never thought about. Well, I think about my relationships with people for sure. Like, do I make friends with people really easily? And I'm like, yes, I do. And then does that relationship stick? Not necessarily. It's either I'll like love someone immediately when I meet them, and then if nothing really happens, I may not like them. Like I may hate them, or...
Let me interrupt here.
Okay.
The kind of person from the outside in, looking at Krista is everybody's friend. Everybody likes Krista. And I've known Krista since she was 9 years old. So Everybody likes Krista. Everybody wants to be Krista's friend. That's the aura you put out there.
Right.
So you are, in a way, friendly with everybody, but I think what I'm getting is that to really know Krista, to actually really know Krista, there's a handful of people.
Oh, yeah.
But there's so many people that because of your gregariousness and because you are very kind, everybody thinks they're your friend.
See, that's not how I feel about it. I feel like, yes, I want to be friends with everyone, right? I don't have a very large group of very close friends, kind of like you just said. So I want to be friends with everyone. And then if that person isn't reciprocating those feelings, I'm like, no, I hate this person.
No more chances.
Yes. Because it's like, well, why don't you like me? I don't know if that sounds really self-centered or whatever, but that's just how I feel.
You know what it sounds? It doesn't sound self-centered at all. It sounds insecure.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally
If this
insecure.
person does not, if the reciprocity isn't there, then you shut down. You're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But the other person's like, wait a minute, I really liked you.
Oh, I don't know about, I don't think it's even, that's ever happened.
I don't know. If you think back, you might realize that it has, because you cut off people before they can make you feel bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Actually, well, yes. Or sometimes I will give them a couple more chances. And even if maybe they don't think they've treated me bad, but I feel like that way. Yeah, like I'm thinking of one certain situation. I see this guy every day when I walk two of my clients, Monday to Friday. I tried to become friends with him this year. Yeah, I asked him for his phone number. Like, he knows I'm married. Like, nothing
just
like
friendly.
that. Yeah. I talk about my husband all the time. I'm like, you should come hang out with us. He's like, yeah, for sure. So I get his phone number, text him 3 times, like different times, like no reply. And then he'll a couple days after that, he'll kind of ignore me, I think. Or I'm just totally being paranoid. Maybe he's not ignoring me, but that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know? So now I'm like, why didn't this guy want to be my friend? Why didn't he want to be friends with my husband? So now
you never know.
I don't know.
Because the one thing is that everybody has a story. You don't know his story.
That's true.
Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the psychiatrist.
Okay.
I took you on a little...
Yeah.
So you went in.
Yeah. So he was asking me these questions. Yeah, asking me stuff that I hadn't really thought about. My relationships with people, about my relationship with myself, about self-harming, about the medications I've been on in the past.
Did you remember them all?
I've been on the same thing.
Oh, have you?
Oh,
okay.
yeah. I haven't changed that much at all since I was 16. And he, asked me why I think that my antidepressant stopped working, like how I know. He asked me about the pattern of my moods and stuff, and if I ever feel if I have really high highs and really low lows. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm bipolar.
Is there a pattern? Did you?
No, not really. No, there's not. Which I kind of said to him, it depends on the day. It's totally depends on the day with me. And some days, like today, I'm fine. I've been fine today.
Yeah.
There's been however, I've had CBD 3 times today. So that could be
Does
that too.
Help? Yeah, I'm sure it does.
This is the first time.
I believe it does.
Yeah? Okay. Well, I still got to try it because I'm not going to pay for it if I don't think it helps.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, so, today I feel fine. In a couple hours, I may not. Because my husband's not home tonight. He's working nights. And that often puts me in a different perspective because I'm totally alone in my house except for Boomer. Yeah. No, I have Boomer, but Boomer is not there to... Boomer can't see my thoughts. And I know my husband can't either, but because Kyle interacts with me more, he can tell, what kind of day I'm having.
But you tell him as well, right? Like you're wide open with him.
Not exactly. Well, yeah, actually lately I would say I'm definitely... Lately because it's been a lot worse than usual. I will just be like, yeah, no, we can't go to Costco tonight. I'm just not feeling it. Or, he'll call me because he's off at 12 or at 2 and be like, what do you want to have for dinner tonight? And I'll be like, I don't know. I can't even...
When you're depressed, there's times when someone says, what do you want for dinner? And you feel like they just asked you to build them a fucking house. Like you're like, I don't give a shit what I have for fucking dinner, asshole.
Yeah.
And that's me anyway sometimes. I'm just like, did you seriously just ask me that?
Yeah, I feel the same way. It doesn't matter. Just leave me alone.
I don't care if I eat or not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's totally me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that.
You were telling me
Oh,
about the
about-
psychiatrist.
And about patterns. Yes.
Mood swings, or I don't like the word swings.
No.
But mood changes and...
Yes, mood changes for sure. Sometimes I don't even know if it's mood. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I don't like to say it's mood because I feel like mood is maybe more easily changed, whereas this is coming from my brain. I don't know. That's how I think about it. Like,
I see that you're making that distinction, and that makes sense because a lot of people they're moody
Right.
or whatever, right? And moody is not nice to live with either, but moody isn't controlling you? Is that what, like, I'm not sure I understand, but
Yeah.
I understand, but I don't know if I'm articulating it.
yeah, I think so. It's like, maybe mood doesn't affect you as much as depression does, right? So, I don't know. I just think mood is something that everyone has.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess that's what I think.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Doug
mood.
gets in a bad mood, but Doug has no idea Doug is my husband. Doug has no idea what depression feels like, and
Right.
he willingly admits that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But he does, not very often, thank goodness, he does get moody.
Right. Right. So being in a bad mood is not the same as being depressed. So, so I don't know how to describe, like, every day. It's not my mood. It's my, what is it? Like, what is it every day, what you feel? Do you think that's your mood? Or do you think it's, no, it's.
It encompasses way more than mood.
Yeah, I don't know. Like how you feel, right? But what is the word for that?
I can't think of one. Maybe it'll come to us as we keep talking, because I know what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something as fluffy as mood.
Yes.
It's something that just takes everything. And you said something I want to ask you a bit more about, was that you felt like you were almost being led, like, am I manic depressive? Am I bipolar?
Mm-hmm.
Am I, and this is my feeling, okay, take it as you will. I feel like everybody wants to put a label on us.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they had a label, there we go, another one bites the dust.
That's true.
When I was at Ontario Shores, and I was there for 2 very long appointments, I cannot even tell you how many times they asked me, do you ever feel invincible?
Okay.
Do you ever get manic? Like, do you ever go through times where you don't sleep at all?
Right.
For weeks and weeks and stuff like this? And I kept saying, as an intelligent woman who has dealt with depression, among other things, for many years, I just kept saying, no, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Right.
I am not bipolar. I don't have big highs and big lows. I don't even have little highs and little lows. I have bottom falls out.
Yeah. That's the same as me.
And but they really want you to put it somewhere, right? So tell us what he told you in the end. Tell us what and I'm putting air quotes on this because I think diagnoses are sometimes bullshit. Another personal opinion. Mm-hmm. What are your diagnoses?
You know I did a video on this already, right? Just so you know.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I want
okay.
you to tell me.
Okay. So my diagnosis was...
Because then I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. So he said I have depression, but he didn't... Before he said depression, he said something else. I think he said, like, depressive... something, like traits or something. Because I remember thinking, is he going to tell me that I don't have depression?
So did he say depressive traits of depressive disorder? Does that make sense?
I don't know.
That word play?
Depressive disorder. I don't
Drug-resistant depression?
He did not say that, no.
Chronic depression.
No,
There's
he
so
didn't
many
say that.
different words for it in the DSM.
Right, so I don't know what he was getting at there, but then he said, and depression. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, and you knew that.
And I knew that, but I wanted it to be validated, because then if it wasn't depression, I was going to be thinking, whoa, how have I been wrong for so long,
Yeah. So that would be frightening too, because then you'd be like, okay, so what's the matter with me?
Yeah.
Like, then there's something, like I have a brain tumor? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, and then he said anxiety, and then he said traits of bipolar disorder. So then he told me to do my own research.
No. Traits of...
No, traits of borderline personality disorder, sorry. Yeah, BPD and yeah.
Yeah, it's all letters now. It's all acronyms.
Right, yes, traits of borderline personality disorder.
And how did you feel when you walked out that door?
I felt okay, actually. Like, I don't really know another word for it. you know, I was expecting the depression and anxiety. And do you want me to just pause it for a second? Yeah, so he told me to do my own research, so that's what I did. I don't really know why he told me that. Like, I just found it odd.
He was lazy and tired, and this is my personal feeling. And he said, okay, you've been in here for 40 minutes. Okay, go do your own research.
I guess so, yeah. And like, you asked me earlier if I felt a connection with him, and no, absolutely not. There was no connection. I honestly felt the same way as when I saw that psychologist, and I didn't like her because, you know, if they sit there and they do certain faces, like,
oh yeah,
you're like, okay, are you judging me? Are you thinking I'm lying? Like, I don't like that face. And as a psychiatrist, you should learn to, you know,
to do something with your face.
Yeah, to do something.
I agree completely.
Yeah, because I feel like a
and
facial...
show real interest.
Yes.
Lean for all the things that we learn. Lean forward, reach out, talk, smile.
Yeah, no.
Maybe even touch a little bit.
It was not like that at all. It was, yeah. So, yeah, no, you asked me how I felt about it. And I said
you walked out the door.
Yeah, and I said I felt okay about it. The only things that, I mean, the whole borderline personality disorder traits kind of threw me through a loop because I had no idea what that meant, and he wasn't really telling me what that meant. So, you know, I was, I guess, not excited to go home. I was, what's that word I'm looking for?
Motivated, curious?
Or like anxious. I was anxious
okay.
to get home and look up what he was talking about. So, and then also another thing that threw me through a loop too was that he told me he was going to recommend to my GP to put me on antipsychotics. And just the name antipsychotics sounds really scary.
Did that make sense though? Like why was that his reasoning?
I don't know if he gave me a reasoning. Besides the fact that he said that it should help me sleep and it should help me with my energy. I can't remember what else he said about it. But when he said those two things, well, first when he said sleep, I was like, oh, hopefully.
Pass it over.
Exactly, right? I've been having so much trouble lately. So actually, more than I would like sleep, I would like to have energy. Because that's been way longer, like years and years, like 10 years. I don't remember having energy.
I would be very curious to hear what antipsychotic drug is chosen because I'm on an antipsychotic right now, Seroquel.
Okay.
Seroquel puts me to sleep like that.
Oh.
And that's, well, I was on immediate release. Now I'm on extended release. I forget why. My daughter could tell you because she went to the appointment with me. But Seroquel puts you right to sleep, but you're left with no energy all day long. And then you add, like I added Zoloft to that.
You're useless.
I might as well just lie around. Yeah,
Right.
useless. Let my grandchildren crawl all over me and life is good. Yeah, I can't do anything.
That sounds awful.
It is.
Like, how do you function like a normal person?
You don't.
That's
You just
terrible.
pretend you are.
Which is awful. Like, which is so hard too, pretending that you're feeling okay. Which is what you're doing right now, by the way.
And you too.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I will let you know what antipsychotic that is. So he also told me, he told me to wean myself off the Wellbutrin, which is the second drug that I'm on, as well as Cipralex. So because I said to him, Cipralex has worked in the past, I guess he wanted to keep me on it, which it sounds a little bit like bullshit to me because I clearly said...
It's not working now.
No. So I was on Cipralex, and then just Cipralex, and then I went to the doctor for the first time in like February, and said, okay, my Cipralex is not working. So that's when they put me on the Wellbutrin, and then 2 months later they upped my Wellbutrin, and so none of that has worked. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe the Cipralex and the antipsychotic, whatever that is, maybe those work together better.
That's the idea with me, anyways. The idea is that the antipsychotic, the Seroquel, will work in conjunction with the SSRI, which is the Zoloft.
Okay.
That's the plan.
Right.
So that's probably that plan as well. You'll start on an antipsychotic, which also helps with urges and compulsions or anything like that.
Oh,
which I don't know if that, I don't know.
Urges? I don't know. He didn't really say anything like that. Is that to do with borderline personality disorder too? Or no?
I'm saying this, and I'm not a professional. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. borderline personality is an umbrella. Anybody, you can stub your toe and they'll say, "Oh my goodness, you have borderline personality disorder." I'm full of shit. But that's the way I feel about it.
Okay. You know, I just mean that like there was something. It wasn't impulses.
Impulses.
Okay.
So antipsychotic will help with impulses.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Impulses
well,
and urges.
Yes.
And like you have been very clear and open on your videos that you have self-harmed.
Yes.
With taking medication and stuff. So that will help with those urges. That's the idea with an antipsychotic. That will help with that when you get feeling so bad that you think you might have to take all those pain pills.
And do you know how many times, this is going to be very honest too, how many times I've had those urges but not acted on them?
Well, good for you.
I guess so, yeah.
No, good for you. Because one of my one of my largest issues was that the urges became compulsions and I couldn't help but act on them.
Right.
I could not help but act on them. And I don't want you to get there.
No.
So you're doing the right thing right now. If you're on an antipsychotic
trying,
and an SSRI, hopefully that will take away the urges and the impulses and calm things, straighten them out.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's
hopefully
the plan,
it fixes
right?
something, right? Like it's
That's
got to
the
fucking
plan.
fix something. And sorry, SSRI, what does that mean?
It's an antidepressant. It's a serotonin uptake
Oh, okay.
thing with the on here, neurotransmitters, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is that where you want to end today's video then?
Let's end today's video, and we're going to wish Krista a very lovely trip. Have fun,
thank
sweetie.
you. Yes, I'll hopefully put these up tonight, but no promises.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.